an episode of the Code Drop. Today we're going to make a basic HTML project and practice what we learned so far. So what we're going to do today is we're going to make a web page for a public library using only HTML. So our website is going to contain of three main parts or three main pages. The first one is going to be an index page. So the index page will contain of all the links we're going to use, the links to other web pages. Then we're going to include an image, and then we're going to include some text which will tell what library is about. So maybe let's say about us. Okay, and then we need one more page which we'll call books page. So in the books page, what we're going to do is, in the books page we're going to store all the names of the books which we have. So it will have links, genres of books, and then names of the books based on genres. So this is going to be a books page. And then we're also going to make one contact page. So in the contact page we'll have a basic contact form using which anyone can communicate with the library whenever they want, just using the contact form. So a contact form which will contain the links, and then it will contain a contact form. So that's it. Now this is the basic structure of our web page we're going to use. So let's get started. Now first of all, we want to open the folder in which we want to work with. So I've already made these three files. You can see that these are books.html, contact.html, and index.html. So let's open this folder in Visual Studio Code and let's get started. Now the first thing we want to do is we want to open the index.html file, and we want to start with a links page. So first of all, let's give a title. We need to change the title. It should be library index. Okay, so we don't have a name for our library, so we'll just call it library. So we'll give a library name here, a heading for library, and it will be home of the library. So let's make the title also home only, library home. Okay, so now we've set the heading. Now what we want to do is we want to include the links to other web pages. So we're going to use a tag, and inside of this we're going to write, let's say, books, and we're going to link it href for hypertext reference, and then books.html. And then we also want to include a contact page here. So we'll make a contact.html and we'll say contact. Also, for making our web page look more semantic, we'll actually add a home.html also. So it will be index.html. Now we'll save this and let's go live and see how this is working. Okay, so you can see that we have the library home and we have these three texts for index, books, and contact. Okay, these are the three links we want to access. Now you want to insert an image, so let's search for an image first. I haven't searched for an image yet, I don't know why. So image of books. Now we want an image, so let's download this one only. Let's save this picture as image1.jpg. First let's go to our documents folder, to the location where we are making the website. Now we want to add here background. .jpg. Now we have saved the image and we want to add that image here. So let's add the image tag img, and then we're going to put the source, and the source is going to be background.jpg, and then we hit save. You can see that the image has been inserted. Now we want to give a break here. So you can see that we have our library, we have that links, and we have our image. Now you want to insert about something about a library, so we'll add an h3 tag and say about us, and then we're going to add a p tag and put in some contents. So let's say that this is a public library, so let's call it, this is a HTML template for a public library web page. Anyone who wants to use this template can use it freely. There's no limitations. I think this might be enough, so let's save, and now you can see that we have an about us and there's some text about it. So this is our home page for library, and we want to insert a copyright maybe, because even though we've said that you can use it freely, for the sake of adding a footer we're going to add a footer. So let's add a footer tag, and inside of this footer tag we're going to insert an HR first, so it will give a divider, and then we want a BR also, and then we want to write our text in span. So span is going to be and copy. Using and copy you can actually make a copyright mark there, and copy to no one. So you can see that we have our copyright to no one here. Let's add a BR also. So now you can see that we have this HR line, and then we have copyright to no one 2019. Actually we'll say 2000 dash dash, we don't know which year is going to be used. So this is our home page. Now let's move on to our books page. So for your reference, when you click on the books page here, you can see that a books page is open, but there's nothing inside of it. So we're going to books.html, and then we're going to add some of the content here also. So the first thing is always going to be h1 tag, and we'll see library books, and let's change the heading also. The title is going to be library books, and here we're going to add a paragraph where we can see that this page consists of all the books we have in our library, sorted alphabetically and sorted alphabetically and based on genres. So we have this thing. Okay, now we want to we forgot to add a link, so let's add the links again. And our text is going to be home, and href going to be books index.html, and then we want the same thing for books, and we want the same thing for contacts. So contact.html and books.html. So this should be it. Now we want to add a BR tag, and we want to add a few genres. So let's say genre 1 is going to be science, so we'll add a few science book. Let's say science here. Now let's add a few more genres here. Let's add mystery. And then let's add science fiction. So let's say sci-fi instead of whole sci-fiction. Sci-fi. Okay, so we have 3 genres and we're going to use and NBSP. Using NBSP we can add non-breaking spaces between the text. Okay, now we want to prepare a list. So we're going to prepare an ordered list because it has to be ordered according to the alphabets and genres. So the first rule will have the ID of science, and the first list item is going to be let's add them alphabetically. So the first one will be a brief history of time, and now you want to publish this a lot of times, and we'll add 5 of these things, and let's add different titles here. A brief history of time, the origin of species, and then we want to add the grand design, and then we want to add the selfish gene. So these are basically science books which you can get from any online store, and these are actually really great science books, so you can actually read them, and the universe in a nutshell. So these are the science. Also we'll add a hash here because we want to link it to an list which has an ID of science. So this is how we do it. Now we'll again add one more list, and it's going to be mystery. So in mystery we'll have 5 different books again. The first one is going to be A is for alibi. Okay, if the spelling of alibi is not correct, so yeah, don't say me anything. I don't know the spelling of alibi basically. And then we'll have the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So let's run a competition. So let me just know which of these books you have already read or have heard the names of the books, because there are many books we are going to use, and these are all the famous ones. I'm not using anyone which might be unknown to anyone. So the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and then we'll have the Hound of the Baskerville. The Hound of the Baskerville. And then we'll have Murder on the Orient Express. And in last we'll have The Invisible Man. Okay, so these are the books in history, and then we're going to go in the link and add hash mystery. Let's add hash sci-fi there only. And now you want to add one more list of books which we'll call sci-fi. So the first one in this is going to be Frankenstein. Have you heard of the Frankenstein? That's really good book. So you should read it. Frankenstein. And then we'll have Da Vinci Code. After this we have the War of the Worlds, and then we have the Martian and the Time Machine. So we'll actually include headings for all of these, because you can see that in our output we cannot differentiate between which of the genres we are referencing now. So let's add here an H5 tag, and let's say science, and then here we'll add mystery, and then again here we'll add science fiction. Okay, now we'll go to our page and let's try clicking on these. So when you click on science, you can see that the science list goes on the top, and then we have, when we click on mystery, the mystery goes on the top, and then we have the science fiction, and the science fiction goes on top. Now let's add again our footer. So this is going to be a BR tag, and then we'll have an footer tag, and then inside of a footer tag we'll have a BR tag, HR tag, and then again a BR tag, and then span, which will include of and copy, to no one 2000 dash dash. So you can see that our footer has been added. So we're done with the books.html also. So in this one we have learned how to use links and lists. In the home we learned how to use images and paragraphs, and then we have got our contact. So in contact we're basically going to use contact forms, how to make the forms. So let's say contact us, so let's say just contact, and it's going to be library contact. Let's change our heading to library contact, and now we want to add a contact form. So let's say an h3 tag, and let's say contact form here, and now we'll add our form tag. So in our contact form we're going to add a name input field, and then an email address input field, and then a text area in which users can write their queries. So let's say input type of text and placeholder of name, or actually we can make it more responsive, your name goes here. Okay, and we're going to add a label here, and in label is going to be name. We'll add a BR here, and we'll add two BRs here because we want some space between two inputs. So let's add two more of these, and the second one is going to be email address. So type is going to be email, and placeholder is going to be your email address goes here. And then we have query. So query, we want a big text area, so we can't use an input tag. So we are going to use a text area tag. So using a text area, we can actually make a text area of a defined size. So text area and placeholder is going to be enter your query here. Now let's hit save and go to our contact page. You can see that we have these things, and our query is of relatively small size. So we're going to add an height attribute here, which is going to be maybe 200 pixels, and yeah, it's okay. And let's add a width of, So the width should be equal to rest of the input fields, and rest of the input fields are taken 80% of the screen size. So let's add 80%. Now we have it in a perfect shape and size. Okay, so now we have our text area, we have our queries. Now let's add a submit button. So it is going to be input and of type submit, and its value is going to be submit send your query. Instead of submit, we're going to use send your query. It makes your form more interactive. So if you actually use just regular names for your queries in the form or labels, then it just makes a form an ordinary form. But if we use some fancy placeholders, something interactive, then we can actually make users want to fill your form. So for example, instead of just name, we're using your name goes here, because we want people to fill in your name there. So like that, we can make our form interactive using just the small things, just the small text we can add. So this is our basic form, and let's add a form action. So form action is basically where you want to send your form. When the form is submitted, which page should be opened. So we actually forgot to include the form tag here. We'll add the form tag real quick. And we're going to add a form action. So form action basically tells the form which page to redirect when the form has been submitted. So let's say we want it to redirect it to the home, so it is index.html. So when someone fills the form, we want to open index.html file again. So this is our form. Let's try it. We're not actually sending any queries, so let's just, okay, the query can also be the Gmail address only. So when you submit on our query, you can see that our home page has opened. So we've made our index page, we've made our books page where we have different collection of books, and we've made our contact page. Okay, now, oh, we forgot to add the links in contact page. Let's add contacts real quick. So this is going to be index.html, and this is home, and then this one is books, and this one is contact. Okay, now our page is totally completed. I don't think we are missing something here. So this is our books page, this is our contact page, and this is our home page. All of them are linked together. So this is what a typical website may look when you make one. So this is a basic website. This is what we have learned throughout the series. So this is a direct implementation of what we have learned in the series, and this video basically marks the end of the basics of HTML, because we've learned all of the HTML we want to learn to make a web page. There are many more different elements which you can use to add different stuff, but this is enough if you want to make a basic website. So if you like the video, thumbs up, and if you love the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next episode of the Code Drop. Bye for now.